The whistleblower's gambit. How one woman brought down a senator. It started with a whisper in a Capitol Hill cafeteria. 5 words that would bring down a U.S. senator and expose a corruption network worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He's got money in it. Representative Jasmine Crockett almost missed it. She was sipping her tea, reviewing budget documents, when she heard the nervous voice behind her. The speaker wasn't bitter or gossipy. They were scared. And that's what made Jasmine listen. Senator Marco Rubio's name had been floating around closed committee meetings for weeks. Defense contracts, always the same companies, always rubber-stamped approvals. Too convenient, too clean, too corrupt. The investigation begins. Jasmine wasn't your typical politician. A former defense attorney with a steel-trap memory and zero tolerance for bullshit. She'd been underestimated before. Being a black woman in Congress meant she was used to people thinking she'd stay quiet and play nice. They were wrong. Her chief of staff, Von Tiller, had heard the same whispers. Everyone's scared to say too much, he told her. People protect their careers like their firstborn. But Jasmine started digging. She attended closed committee sessions, asked sharp questions about pricing structures, and watched carefully when Rubio's name came up. 3 people wouldn't meet her eyes. One staffer literally got up and left mid-session. Then came a phone call. An unknown number. A cryptic text. You're asking about the wrong people, but you're right. Be careful. The next message was even more chilling. Meet me near the bottom escalator in Union Station. Navy windbreaker. Don't bring anyone. The whistleblower. Union Station was busy. Perfect cover for a clandestine meeting. Jasmine found him exactly where he said he'd be, mid-30s, clean-shaven, hands shoved deep in his pockets, eyes darting everywhere. You don't know me, he said quickly, voice shaking. And I'm not doing this again. I just need this off my conscience. He handed her a manila envelope, thick and sealed. 5 years he'd worked for Rubio, legislative operations, then scheduling. He'd watched deals get passed like poker chips, seen emails deleted before backups could catch them, witness meetings held in parking garages instead of conference rooms. He's not who he says he is, the whistleblower continued. And someone needs to do something before this gets worse. The smoking gun. Back at her apartment, Jasmine opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside, printed emails, bank transaction records, a USB drive, and photocopies showing how Rubio's team had quietly funneled money through shell companies. But the real bombshell was a phone call transcript. 2 voices, labeled only as SEN and Agent. SEN, you know what needs to happen. They're the best choice. Make it happen. Agent, they're not even on the short list. SEN, don't make this difficult. You want my support on reallocation? Then do your job. It was vague enough to create doubt, but combined with the financial records, it painted a crystal-clear picture of manipulation. Jasmine and Vaughn worked through the night, cross-referencing public records, FEC filings, and committee reports. By 4:15 a.m., they had their answer. This isn't just bad optics, Vaughn said, exhausted. This is criminal. The network exposed. The USB drive revealed the true scope of corruption. Marco Rubio had steered $246 million in defense contracts to Havenwell Dynamics, a company with suspicious offshore holdings. In return, he received personal payments through Shell dividends traced to Shoreline Consulting, a ghost company where his sister-in-law sat on the board. But Rubio wasn't alone. At least 4 other government officials were connected to companies that benefited from his influence. And there was someone else, a mysterious figure known only as CM, who appeared in dozens of internal communications. CM says push the delivery through before oversight asks questions. CM wanted a face-to-face with R before the next committee meeting. CM was a puppet master, and Rubio was just a puppet. The pressure mounts. As soon as Jasmine started building her case, the retaliation began. Anonymous smear campaigns attacked her credibility. Bots flooded social media with lies about her motives. A Florida radio host claimed she had a personal vendetta against Rubio. The intimidation got personal. Her apartment lights mysteriously went out. A fake power company technician showed up for an unscheduled inspection. Her district STEM program suddenly lost funding from a major donor. But Jasmine didn't back down. She assembled a bipartisan coalition of representatives who couldn't be bought or intimidated. Together, they prepared for the fight of their political lives. The Ethics Committee hearing, was held in a cold, sterile room with no cameras allowed. Jasmine sat at the center table, her evidence folder sealed with a red clip, her back straight, her voice steady. These documents include transaction records, internal communications, and excerpts from a whistleblower statement implicating Senator Marco Rubio in direct interference with federal contract approvals. She methodically presented her evidence: bank transfers, metadata from suspicious communications, and the damning phone call recording. The room was silent except for the sound of pages turning and pens scratching. "What are you asking this committee to do?" asked Chairwoman Alita Fry. "I'm asking for a formal ethics investigation into Senator Rubio and a DOJ referral for criminal review. And if we decline," Jasmine looked each committee member in the eye, "then I'll walk out of this room and take it to the American people." The motion passed. The investigation was official. The leak and the fallout. By sunrise, someone had leaked a fragment of the evidence to the press. Not the full file, just enough to ignite a firestorm. Rubio corruption probe trended nationwide. Cable news cleared their morning segments. Protesters gathered outside the Capitol. Rubio's office issued a weak statement about partisan distractions and promised to cooperate fully. But it was too little, too late. That evening, Jasmine appeared on PBS NewsHour, calm and composed in a navy blazer. "I'm not here to punish anyone," she said. "I'm here to protect the integrity of the public trust. If people in power are abusing their positions to get rich while risking national security, we owe it to the American people to stop it." The clip went viral. The puppet master revealed. As the investigation deepened, the whistleblower, revealed to be Elias Breener, a former deputy scheduler, provided the final piece of the puzzle. CM wasn't a person. It was a code name for Calvin Marin, a former intelligence contractor turned venture capitalist. Marin controlled data, surveillance, and private security firms embedded in nearly every government department. He'd never held office because he didn't need to. He controlled the people who did. Marin was running his own game. Elias explained. Rubio was just a tool. The reckoning. The Senate chamber was packed, but unusually quiet when the expulsion vote was called. After 6 minutes of roll call, the final tally was announced. 71 in favor, 25 against, 4 abstaining. Senator Marco Rubio was expelled from the United States Senate, the first such expulsion in over a century. He wasn't in the chamber to hear it. No one knew where he was. The bigger picture. But Jasmine's work wasn't finished. The investigation expanded to include Marin's network, which reached into 8 states and possibly 2 foreign accounts. The Public Trust and Procurement Act was drafted to close the loopholes that had made the corruption possible. Months later, Jasmine visited a 3rd-grade classroom in Denton, Texas. A little girl with pigtails raised her hand. "Are you scared of the people who lied?" Jasmine thought for a moment. "I used to be, but not anymore. Because truth isn't something you carry alone. When you say it out loud, other people start saying it too. And then it gets bigger than the people trying to hide it." The legacy. The Rubio scandal changed how America looked at political corruption. It showed that the system could still work when brave people were willing to risk everything for the truth. Jasmine Crockett didn't want statues or sound bites. She wanted people to look at government and see themselves again, not shadows of greed wearing polished smiles. As she wrote in her journal that night, "Truth doesn't shout. It waits. And when it's finally heard, it doesn't leave." The whisper in that Capitol Hill cafeteria had become a roar that shook the foundations of power. And it all started with one woman who refused to look the other way. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply tell the truth.